little ducky coming through, speaking truth, unabashed, calling out the liars, debunking falsehoods with a blast. I ain't afraid to say what's real, won't ever hold back. Gonna shake the system up, turn it all off track. I see through the smoke, the mirrors in the disguise, expose their hidden agenda. No more room for their lies. The truth is my weapon, I won't let it be concealed. I'm the voice for the voiceless, no longer gonna yield. In a world full of deception, I'm here to set it straight, bringing justice to the forefront. Won't accept their twisted fate. They may try to silence me, but my voice will still prevail. A sparkling revolution, it's a truth-telling tale.
Welcome to the Loud Little Ducky. We are going to be going over Laura Owens and some of her Medium articles, some updates in things going on in her case, and see what in the world is she doing, because she does not seem to grasp anything that's happening. Yar, Bruce. So we are going to do that. First thing is that she had a Ola Belly. She had a pretrial conference today. I think that's what it was. Well, she had a pretrial thing today. And a lot of declarations were put in as well. Some of them are kind of similar, and they have to repeat these documents because it is now a new case. So the old case was, by all documents and everything, procedure-wise, was considered complex. Now that she has the 14, this is a new case. She had a new arraignment on it. And so now she has to have this case formally said to be a complex case. So now this one is that. Then we had like the 270 days from this new arraignment period, which leads us to her end of July hearing for the trial, basically. And I'm not sure if she showed up on Zoom. I know that she did put in a what am I looking for? She put in a request to travel. We know that. And that was approved, of course. From the 16th to the 18th, so she should be back. Somebody apparently is not doing well in California. Who knows if she's talking about her horse? But that was approved. She should have been back, so she should have been able to come on Zoom or waive it. And I believe she did do a request to do that as well. And then let's see. Why in here? All right, let's bring this one up because it is kind of interesting in the way that it is written. I want to say she was Belly. Lisa Daniels. Maybe she works at, yeah, she might work at, no, Lisa Daniels is, dang, now you have me stumped. Dang it. She's a physician's assistant. She is a physician's assistant or PA. I can't remember if she was somebody from One Medical or, oh, I'm gonna have to look. I don't know if she is the neuro person or if she's from One Medical. Okay. All right. I want to go through this one. I'm not finding these documents for some reason on. Ouch. Documents. Okay. All right. We're going to bring this up. Yes, please do, because I can't remember who she is exactly. Okay. We're going to share screen. All right. So, first up, initial pretrial conference statement. I'm losing my mind over here. Okay. All right. So, it was in front of Commissioner Popko, which we knew it was going to be in front of Popko because when she did her arraignment and Judge Reuter was putting out the scheduling, he said that this one was going to be in front of Popko, but the next one should be back in front of Judge Reuter if it goes by what he said. All right. So it's saying defense counsel and defendant have been in communication. The state has complied with Rule 15.1, Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure. The defendant has complied with Rule 15.2. There are no disclosure or discovery disputes at this time between the parties that require the court's involvement. And there are no pending motions, including notice of change of judge before the court. So Laura would be the only one asking for a change of judge, more than likely. It says plea discussions. A plea offer is forthcoming from the state, being discussed, or a deviation request is pending. And we won't really know much about these plea deals unless she takes one. We might find out that one was offered to her and that she didn't take it and she's going to trial, but that might be all we know. We probably won't know the ins and outs of behind the scenes. That stuff doesn't really get shared. That stuff is not public information, all that wheeling and dealing. So we'll know if they say anything or if she accepts it. Hearing dates. Defendant has been advised of the upcoming hearing dates, including the comprehensive pretrial conference, the final trial management conference, and the trial dates. Victims' rights have been complied with as applicable. Let's see what else. Parties intend to file a request for the court to designate this case as complex by January 27th, 2026. And that is signed by both parties. All right. Then we're going to take that down and we're going to present this new one, which is the same thing that they had in the other case. They're just putting it in this case about the state's allegation of multiple offenses not committed on the same occasion pursuant to ARS 13703 and ARS 13704. And so by and through undersigned counsel hereby amends the indictment to allege these crimes charged are multiple offenses not committed on the same occasion. Therefore, if defendant is convicted of these crimes, defendant shall be sentenced pursuant to ARS 13703 or ARS 13704 if offenses are dangerous. Alternatively, should any of the defendant's charges not consolidate for trial become historical prior felony convictions under ARS 13105, the state will seek sentence enhanced with historical prior felony convictions on any of the remaining charges under 13703 or 13704 if offenses are dangerous. And I don't really know what, I mean, are all crimes considered dangerous? Because I don't know how they're going to but we went over this in depth on a future stream, which if I find, I will put it in the show notes, where it's basically like the first one that she can get, if she gets convicted of one of 13, the first one can be treated as like the first offense. And then all the other ones that are on different dates are going to be sentenced as if she has a prior criminal history, is what the state is saying that they might do. Okay. So let's remove that one. We did that one. That one. State's notice of disclosure and request for disclosure. Let's bring this up. Sorry if you hear me clicking. Okay. And sorry about my face today. I don't know if y'all can see, but like this whole side of my face is like really swollen right now. But I'm gonna get it taken care of, I guess, eventually. Hopefully it goes away. All right, back to this. in case y'all are wondering why I might look weird today. Okay. They are giving notice, disclosure pursuant to 15.1 of the Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure, and request disclosure pursuant to the Rule 15.2. If the case involves a victim, the state has made every attempt to comply with ARS 13-4434 and Rule 39 of the Rules of Criminal Procedure by redacting the victim's identifying and locating information. Good. We don't need that out there. Has inadvertently been disclosed. The state requests the defense counsel immediately notify the state so that it may substitute the disclosure. A copy that conforms to the requirements of ARS 134434 and Rule 39, the state further requests that any copies of documents containing victim identifying or locating information not be further disseminated to anyone, including the defendant. So don't be sharing locations and stuff with them. So, witnesses: Julie Ulrich, Juan Arango. I wonder who that is. Maybe he works on the farm. Deandra Arena, which is a badass in the courtroom on cross-examination against Laura. Jan Elizabeth Black Naylor Owens, whatever her stage names are. And then we've got Maricopa County Attorney's Office Detective. We've got Scottsdale Police Department people. Stephanie C., who is an FNP. Uncle Joe Cotchett. Lisa Daniels is a witness. Lisa Daniels is also a victim. Samantha Deans, who is was president of Planned Parenthood, who testified as the medical expert in the Clayton Eckerd trial against Owens. Doribel Estrella, don't know who that is. Jeannie Fabre, John Fantazu, I can't even pronounce some of these names. Gregory Gillespie, David Gingrich, which they need to correct that once again. They just took their witness list from the last time and pasted it instead of correcting his name like they originally did. More Maricopa County people and Scottsdale Police: Dustin Griswold, Heather Hall, Doug Haas, Jeffrey Higley, which is Dr. Higley, Roseanne Hubner, Jones, MD. Tamara Lister, Dr. McCool, Mike Maricini, Roberto Martinez, Hunter Maurer, which Hunter may be a victim as well. I don't know, but I've heard somebody say that name. Dr. Medchill, which is, well, we know who Medchill is. Virgin Mary in the Christmas Story. Laura Owens, medical person. Angela Moffett, Carmen Mora, Matt Mulvey, Sarah Navarro, which is Owens' sister. Dave Neal, star witness, as Ron Owens. More detectives and officers: Bonnie Platter, Anna Reyes, Sean Roanhorse. So the Lone Cactus construction people: Nicholas Sanfilippo, Jeannie Sanders. More Scottsdale people: Madeline Sebeck, Kathy Swan, Mary Valenzuela Resto, who is an MBA. Oh, she's the custodian of records. Okay. Jessica Valenzuela, Andrew Williams, Amber Wood is a custodian of records, Greg Woodnick, and Glennis Marie Zyman, who is a medical doctor. Any custodian of records for any disclosure items or documents, any witnesses from defense disclosure, any individuals named or referred to in the preliminary hearing transcript, grand jury transcript, police report, or state's disclosure, cell phone, cell site expert or examiner, computer forensic expert, handwriting expert, fingerprint technician, latent print examiner. Those possibly don't mean anything. They just could be putting them down to cover their butt in case they need them. Which the computer forensic expert, that would cover Berry Hill. But I didn't see him on the witness list. But they could be able to get it in through Maricini because it's his. They may not need him to do that, but I think they should put him on there just in case. Evidence, the state may introduce crime and crime scene evidence, pictures, reproductions, PowerPoints, charts, diagrams of the crime scene, or any damage or injuries that were a result of the crime, physical evidence taken from the defendant, fingerprints, footprints, hairs, fibers, blood, bodily fluids, chemicals, or forensic evidence found as a result of the investigation. See, that's just blanket language. Any arrest, booking, report, photography, photograph of the defendant, MVD records, prior convictions, other records demonstrating prior identification of the defendant, any photographic lineups, which I don't doubt there was, photographs of the victim, any written instruments, checks, receipts, applications for credit accounts or check cashing services, any computer or account access devices, including but not limited to credit cards, debit cards, passwords, account numbers, password generators, any forgery devices, including but not limited to computer software, check blanks, driver's license blanks, social security card blanks, laminator, samples of handwriting and related analysis. That will be interesting. Maybe to compare doctor signatures or something. I don't know if they even have that. They might not have that in this case. Bank account records, credit account records, other receipts or transaction records, MVD records, including but not limited to driver's license IDs. Any statements of the defendants or co-conspirators mentioned or contained in the police reports. Any writing or recording of the defendant or witnesses. Any object, representation of an object, thing, or document referred to in the defense disclosure or disclosed by the defense or used or referred to at trial by the defense. Any grand jury preliminary hearing or deposition transcripts. That's always good for impeachment. Any object, representation of an object, thing, or document referred to in a preliminary hearing transcript, grand jury transcript, police report, or any of the state's disclosures, including but not limited to. And grand jury proceedings are also kind of kept hush-hush. But you do get to question and so remember the grand jury is just the prosecution and the DA and them going in front of a grand jury, selling them the story of Owens, which is not really a selling because what they produced and 2 grand juries possibly decided to convict her on 7 charges each, but 14 in total. I doubt it was. I don't know if it was the same grand jury. I don't think so, but it could have been. And the defense is not there. The defense gets all that information later. All right. I don't have anything about an arson. Any video or audio recording obtained from an on-officer camera, any surveillance video. The state gives notice that it may introduce FTR recordings of testimony in this case and evidence or use them during closing arguments. Any information relevant to the case obtained from cell phone or from wireless providers. Any information relevant to a case obtained from social media platforms. They will be disclosed seasonable. State has no obligation to provide witness telephone numbers. The only witness telephone numbers to be disclosed are those that are already included in the police reports or other disclosed materials. All of the listed witnesses, existing relevant written statements have been provided in police reports, are provided in this notice, or will be provided seasonably. Any other statement of a witness that any witness may remember may be obtained through witness interviews. All existing statements, written statements of the defendant have already been provided in the police reports and provided with the notice or will be provided seasonably. Audio, visual, digital recordings or images. Any exhibit presented to the grand jury. Defense counsel shall be responsible for recording any witness statements made at an interview of the witness. Expert to be called as a witness in this case are listed in the witness list. The names and addresses of experts along with completed physical examinations, scientific tests, experiments, or comparisons have already been provided or provided with this notice or will be provided upon completion. Then it's got police officers listed above may be called as an expert witness with respect to an area within the officer's training and experience, including knowledge of illegal drugs, possession or sale, unusable amounts, or other topics. A lot of this is blanket language. There's no electronic surveillance. There was a search warrant. There was no informant whose existence the defendant is entitled to know. Reports. The state is unaware of any existing material or information unknown to the defense that would tend to mitigate the defendant's guilt or punishment. Yeah. We have no clue about any mitigating factors for Laura. She likes animals. That's it. All this stuff. There's not really, when they request for all of their stuff, to be handed over. But since everybody's saying, yeah, they complied, there's nobody arguing over anything, this should be good. Hello, Judge Butthead. All right. So let's remove that. And okay. Automatic and additional disclosures. This is talking about like her criminal record. If she doesn't have one. They've taken polygraphs. Okay. Not really anything there. All right. Let's see what this one is. Okay. Let's share screen and let's go this one. Okay. All right. Notice of defenses and request for notice of rebuttal witnesses assigned to the master calendar. Laura Owens, through undersigned counsel, hereby gives notice that defenses checked below may be raised at trial. Mere presence, duress, illegal searches, lack of specific intent, no criminal intent, and insufficient of state's evidence. They had a search warrant. She was not under duress during the time she did any of this shit. She's going to say just a mere presence doesn't make her. No, fuck you. I don't care if you have lack of specific intent or a criminal intent. You intended to do the act and you knew it was wrong. And yeah, right on insufficient state's evidence, because there is a plethora of evidence against Laura. So these defenses don't mean shit to me, but okay. In defenses, defendant may call the following witnesses: the defendant, any and all individuals named and referred in the state's disclosure, which they can call people on the prosecution's witness list if they want to. Any and all individuals, including but not limited to victim assistant, caseworkers, and volunteers who have spoken with any witness in this case, any investigator. Defendant reserves the right to supplement this list as further witnesses become known. Also, pursuant to Rule 15.1, Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure, defendant hereby requests disclosure of the names and addresses of all persons who will be called as rebuttal witnesses, together with their written or recorded statements. In addition, defendant may introduce at trial the following tangible objects: photographs of the alleged crime scene, diagram of the alleged crime scene, any object, thing, or document disclosed by the state or used to or referred to at the trial by the state, any written or electronically recorded statements by any witness. So it could be depositions, because they're going to want to try to impeach each of these witnesses. The one that no, that's a California person, so that wouldn't be it. There was one in the California case that she would want to, but she is going to impeach Clayton. She's going to try to impeach Greg, Mike, any of these people. I don't know how much that's going to do. I know impeaching Laura is really easy to do because she's been impeached so many times. I don't want to see the landings. Just saying. No, thank you. I'm good. All right. I'm going to remove that. Now, okay. And then we saw, there's possibility of Jan and Ron's bankruptcy stuff getting dismissed. We saw David Gingras enter kind of an appearance in the bankruptcy for Laura Owens. We saw that they withdrew part 2, and they could wait till later to bring it up if need be. And have no clue if Laura has turned in any of the documents that she needs to. But she needs to get on it because February 3rd comes very quickly. Okay. Something else that y'all might... Ooh, I don't know if I can even bring it up. Ooh, I don't think I've ever done it on my computer. Stop sharing. Oh, I have. Okay. Okay. All right. So I took to Reddit. Okay. And because I am a dodo bird in bankruptcy, yeah, I want what people in the bankruptcy Reddit would say about this case. I didn't tell the names or anything like that. Let me see if I can present it. Let me see if this, I don't know why my StreamYard does that. Okay. But it's pretty. Oh, thank you. Hello, all my baconators. All right. So let me see how this shares. Oh, you can't really even see it that well. What am I going to do? All right, let me change the format here. Okay. Hello, baconators. Just saying, I went to Reddit about this bankruptcy thing and wanted to see what some of these people had to say. So I said, can you file bankruptcy with no job, money, or assets? Which I know you can do it with no money and no assets. And people have done it with no job. But if you don't have any of the three, and you're saying that you can't work, like everybody has ruined your life so much that you can't work anymore. So I said, so I know of someone who has filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, but has no job, money, or assets. Can you be successful? The person states this is her way of life right now and probably won't get a job anytime soon. Her parents pay for everything, but her parents have also filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So, does anyone know how this will possibly play out? Okay. So, I just wanted to see if anybody, right now it has like 3,000 views, which is pretty big for me, anyways, because I don't hardly post much. All right. So, the top commenter stated, filing when you are around rock bottom is absolutely something that can result in Chapter 7 that eliminates debts. The question is if you're maximizing the benefit of oneself at the time. My opinion is that bankruptcy is better as a tool of recovery, a thing you do when you're back to work and ready to get life back on track. Yes, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and all that good stuff. It's free. Um, so this attorney is saying, you want to try to get things whole again. You want to recover. And so usually with bankruptcy, there's a lot of times that you're going to have to pay down some stuff or things might get lumped together and things like that. And so I said, she says she can't go back to work because her reputation has been ruined. She is also under indictment for fraud and forgery of medical documents not related to money or finances. All right. And this person said, so does anyone, they put out, so does anyone know how this will possibly play out? Said, with the information provided, it's anyone's guess. Technically, yes. Someone is not ineligible for relief from Chapter 7 simply because they have no income or assets. However, every time I've seen someone have a Schedule I/J, which is income and expenses, of completely zero, the U.S. trustee has a couple of questions. And indeed, we know the trustees do have questions, right? Oh, I think so too, Bruce. I think she's just trying to get rid of that. And so, why do we know that the trustee has questions? They hired an attorney, right? And they're going to reserve their questioning for February 3rd. So, yeah, they're going to have that with their income. Everything is completely zero. In situations where I've represented a client who relies on others for their income and expenses, like the person you mentioned presumably does, I include equivalent income and expenses, the income on line 11 of Schedule I. And somebody said, out of curiosity, what kind of questions does the trustee ask about having zero income/expenses? They want to know why you are a functioning adult that seems to be doing not a damn thing. All right. Well, I'm not there getting legal advice. I just am asking about a scenario. So this is another top 1% commenter. He said, with the parents going through Chapter 13, will they still be able to pay for support for their adult child who simply doesn't want to work, who also filed Chapter 7? Will the parents' budget include full support for the adult child? I'm guessing a couple of trustees might have some questions. Yep. She could definitely shovel horse crap, pick up dog poop, go rescue dogs, set up a hotline for boyfriends that want to punt dogs and go help them with that. She's got skills. Hell, she could go try to work as a receptionist at Barry's or something. I don't know. She could do something. But yes, once again, the trustees might have some questions. I said to them, the parents didn't put any of the daughter's expenses on their bankruptcy, but the lawyer the trustee hired for the daughter's Chapter 7 actually entered a notice of appearance in the parent's Chapter 13 saying he wanted the information. So I think they've made the connection in the trustee's office, or their lawyers have at least. Because I don't think they're not the attorneys of the trustees in Jan and Owens' case. That attorney in Laura's case wants the information of Jan and Ron's shit that they filed, wants to know about their expenses since she states they pay everything. But we know there's a lot of stuff missing out of the parents, especially with not including Laura's expenses. That may also be another reason that the parents have decided just to give up on filing their bankruptcy, even though they could fix theirs with bankruptcy if they really wanted to and tell Laura to stop her bullshit. But once again, it's just all about me. Yep, GoFundMe's not on there. Barry's Boot Camp is not on there unless they're putting it in with their entertainment, fun, whatever fees. And so this may be why, because if they're both filing for bankruptcy, they're both not supposed to be spending money that is not needed. And nothing right now that Laura has been doing is needed. And the parents don't need to be paying for her shit. So, are they quitting their bankruptcy and not turning in their documents and letting it go so that Laura can say, my mom pays for everything? And if they're not being investigated because they just let it get dismissed, they're going to be allowed to continue paying her bills. I don't know. But after I told them that, the people have made some connections, they say, it is interesting. Is there a reason the daughter can't work, or does she just not want to work? In my experience with our trustee, they're very nice but very professional. They can give some small breaks and understand the debtor's situation, but they also protect the creditors. During our 341 and confirmation, there was the thought that the $5,000 a month was going to be a little short for the 60 payments. The trustee told the judge that they would be willing to extend the plan a couple of months and keep the payment of 5,000 or at 5,000. As it turns out, we are probably paying $100 a month more than required monthly, so we may end a month or so early. Okay. And I said, I think she doesn't want to work. I think her main reason for filing this is that she doesn't want to pay a judgment of attorney's fees and costs for lying in a paternity case about being pregnant and forging medical documents. I think she could still work at a fast food place, retail, receptionist, etc., but I don't think she wants those. I feel like that if she does get relief, her parents are going to pay the monthly payments, even though they are dealing with their own bankruptcy. Because Laura's not going to pay them. Hello. So, do y'all guys think the same thing, that Jan and Ron are going to foot the bankruptcy payments? Because that's what I think. Because Laura's horse earnings aren't going to pay her bankruptcy fees. And the guy said, I wish her luck, but it sounds like the bankruptcy is not really her only challenge. A lot of facts will be disclosed at the bankruptcy meetings and confirmations. The fraud allegations will be tough hill to climb for all of them. This is a sad story on all parts, but as a parent, I'm not sure they're doing the right thing. It'll be interesting to see how this progress goes. I said, I don't think it's going to be as simple as she thinks. In the early stages right now. They say, I have doubts that it will work at all like she thinks it will. Yeah, nothing works the way she thinks it's going to. And of course, I will probably keep those people up to date on some of the craziness. But I just thought it was interesting to give people that don't know this story, they don't know this case. I wanted to hear kind of what some of them would say if this could work. And I thought that when you file bankruptcy, there are like payments. Like, we know that she's gotten her fees or whatever waived, but at the end of it, there are payments that you have to do to make certain things whole again. It's not just wipe your debt away and you walk away with not forfeiting anything over. So, I don't know how well that's gonna work, but that was something interesting. Okay. So, now let's get to and I know people that have read these blog posts have not gone gone through the blog and shown the pictures. I am not gonna show all the pictures. I am going to show the first one. Right, for pennies on a dollar. Yeah, because you ain't making shit. And if she owes restitution, any money that gets put on her books by her parents, they can take money out of that. So, but she should save them on commissary because she doesn't eat, right? And they do not have Domino's delivery or DoorDash in prison. Like, she thinks food is awful at home now. She has no clue what bad food tastes like. Although I have to say, the food that they make for, like, the officers and stuff, because when I worked at a men's prison. I was not a correctional, officer or anything like that, but I worked in a men's prison, and so the inmates, like, they make, because there is a kitchen and kitchen staff and stuff like that, and they make, the food for the inmates that are in the prison, right? And then but then they also make separately, like, meals for the people that work there. Um, and so those a lot of times there were days that I would go and eat somewhere else or I brought something from home, but there were many days that I would go and eat um in the kitchen because it was free to us. And it didn't taste that bad. And so the prisoners don't get the same food that we got, but we did get the red Kool-Aid, which is really good, I have to say. But those they weren't that bad. I mean, it was like cafeteria food, reminded me kind of school days a little bit, and so, that was interesting because I was very nervous when I first started working there, and I was like, "Do I really wanna go eat something that they made, and is it the same shit that they have to eat?" And it wasn't, but it saved me a ton of money. Um, Me and my kid's dad both worked there. He was a correctional officer. I worked in administration. But we are going to get to Owens' article. And like I said, I'm going to show the first picture. Uh, Dang it. I have too many dang tabs open. This is about her ED. Okay. Go back over here. All right. So this is the first picture. And this is her at Barry's gym. And she hits 2,000, which they celebrate you at 1,000 and they celebrate you at 2,000. I'm sure they celebrate you for every 1,000. But hitting that, and I'm guessing it has to do with the red room. But that means she's taken 2,000 classes. And those classes, if she got packages or anything like that, those packages are going to run about $30 a pop. And I don't know if that is on top of the membership or if that is the membership. And so $30 for 2,000 classes is $60,000. This picture represents $60,000 spent at Barry's. I have concerns about her working out because of her health. It worries me because I don't I don't want anything happening to her while she's working out and she is so unhealthy and doesn't have enough fueled energy in her to sustain doing this stuff. There are ways for people that deal with these things. There is a way for them to work out, but an excessive exercising and things like that can go with the ED. And she's saying she's at 84 pounds now. And this was from December 22nd, 2025. She says, I'm embarrassed to admit how much that number means to me. I hope she's talking about the 2,000 and not the 84. And look, 15-minute read. December 24th. So Christmas Eve, this is what she is doing. Instead of, and who gave her 13 claps? Stop it. I doubt this is a 15-minute read. Who times these things? Yeah, she needs help. And it pisses me off that nobody is getting her help. I know she doesn't want the help because people have tried to get her help and she doesn't want it. But whoever said this was a 15-minute read is a liar. I don't think they read the article and all of it. Or maybe they can just read it. But if you're like comprehending things and thinking and using your brain and stuff, this doesn't take you 15 minutes to read because you have to contemplate a lot of things in this. There are ways life can be undone that feels dramatic from the outside, catastrophes that announce themselves moments that divide time cleanly into before and after. The kind of suffering that arrives with sound effects, sirens, collisions, an event people recognize instantly and know how to name. What happened to me did not look like that. Oh, there were sirens. Or maybe not. There were at least lights, flashlights. Mm. It looked instead like endurance. It looked like adapting again and again to conditions that never stabilized. It looked like learning slowly, unwillingly. You do learn slowly and you are unwilling to learn and take accountability. How much a human nervous system can absorb before it begins to fail. And then discovering that failure does not always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like functioning carried far past its limits. Sometimes it looks like staying upright so convincingly that no one noticed the cost until the damage is yet to set in. I can understand that part because anybody with autoimmune stuff, you stand there and you look upright and you smile and you go about your day because you have to keep on trucking because somebody's got to take care of things. You've got to pay your bills somehow. You've got to take care of your kids somehow. But you look fine, right? Nobody knows the damage and the stuff that's going on with you because on the outside, everything looks fine. And she says, "This is what happened to me." No, because you do not look fine on the outside. You're definitely not fine on the inside. For most of my adult life, food had been unremarkable. I did not diet, did not track numbers, did not experience my body as something that needed management. No, because you have a high metabolism. My weight hovered around 120 without effort or thought. Congratulations. Wished mine did that. I ate when I was hungry, stopped when I was full, and derived uncomplicated pleasures from meals. There was no drama there, no hidden ideology. Food was simply part of the background of functioning life. That is a horrible way to think about food. And maybe she does think that like food is just meh. Food is supposed to be an experience, right? Like when you go to your favorite restaurant, sometimes it's just that you like that food, but sometimes it's you've got the memories there, um, people that you've been with there or sharing a meal with. Sometimes it's the wait staff and how they are, or if you go to a place enough times, you become known, everybody knows your name and your order and all of that. And then you have the food because why are you going to continue to go back to a place so many times if you don't even enjoy the food? And then you get to experience your favorite meal. Or maybe you go there mainly for the dessert, or they have really good salsa, um, or really good bread. Because in Texas, we judge you by your chips and salsa and by your bread. And you get it and you're just like, "Oh my god, this is so good. This is hitting the right spot." You know, you're not you're gonna eat it all because it's so good and you're not gonna have any leftovers, which is kinda depressing because you would like to experience it a second time, and make it into 2 meals. Sometimes you can put it into 2 meals, but it's an experience. The flavors and, you wanna tell other people about it. "Oh my god, have you tried this? They have the best that." It's So just be like, "Well, food is just something that we have to survive." Oh, she's not gone to any good food trucks. Mm-mm. That saddens me. But she says, "What changed was not my relationship with food. What changed was my relationship to safety." Okay. Many people don't feel safe going out into the world anymore for many different reasons. That has nothing to do with food because you can DoorDash now. You can go pick up a to-go order, have your parents do it. Yeah, food is trying to steal her spotlight, and we can't have that. If the food is too good, it's going to take her sunshine away. Just 1 second. I'm going to plug my computer in. Mhm. All right. So she says, during my paternity court case, former Bachelor star Clayton Eckert in 2023, an online group calling itself Justice for Clayton formed and fastened itself to my life with a level of fixation that is difficult to convey without sounding unbelievable. It's not unbelievable because there would be people would be like, "Oh, so they're like true crime fans?" And some of us aren't even true crime fans. But they'd be like, "Okay, so you had legal cases, like there's there's people that like true crime, there's people that just like to watch body cam footage. They don't really like true crime, but they like the body cam footage, like cops. There are people that just like listening to the crazy people that go into courtrooms. Yes, I know some people eat to live and others live to eat, but her she's not from a third world country. She has traveled to some many different places out of the country and could eat food in those places. L Like, she has no reason to just be like this. Um, and I get eating the same thing over and over again. There are things that I do, and I will eat them and eat them and eat them until I grow tired of it, and then I fixate on something else, and then I move on to something else. Like, I'm right now trying to figure out what my new fixation is because the holidays are over. Um, my pumpkin bread is gone and out of season, and so sometimes it becomes cereal, or something else. But so I don't necessarily have the the best, I guess, relationship with food, but man, do I enjoy it a little too much. But shows sustained attention sharpened into punishment. My life become a kind of public ledger onto which strangers projected certainty, grievance, and moral authority. No, we just have a moral compass that you don't. And you brought it to the public. This didn't have to be in the public. It just didn't. And you continue to put it in the public because we don't talk about you. Oh God, what did I just do? Did I just close the dang it. I have to get back to her stinking article. to get back to her article. Sorry. Okay. Well, she is the only one that can be dramatic in her life. Me and my swollen face today. Let's see. Every aspect of me was treated as material: my mental health, my past, my family, my finances, my face, my body. Context was stripped away. No, we always give context. Let's see. Fragments were repackaged as content and circulated for engagement narrative with confidence of people convinced they were acting in service of something righteous. Prove to us we're not. You can always prove us wrong. That's the thing, is you could take down all of us and prove us all wrong if you had the proof to back up your stories, but you don't, because if you did, you would have put it out by now. The DA's office would have it by now to drop the charges. If you had something that proved that you were not lying about these things, those charges would go away. That would be the right thing for the DA to do if you provided proof that has not been seen yet, like your LA Parenthood, but you don't have any of that shit. The cruelest framing drew the largest audience for the content creators covering the case. Exactly, we're covering the case. I had never met these people. I had never harmed them. Yet they spoke about me with certainty and contempt, typically reserved for someone convicted of murder. Why does she keep going? She acts like murder is the only crime to exist in America that you go to jail for. You can't go to jail for anything else other than murder. And no, I do not dislike her as much as I dislike a murderer. There are other people and other crimes that I dislike way more. But her type of crime and the person she is, I have personal experience with people like her. And I don't like them, especially being the mother of a son. And I have a daughter too, who I'd be damned if she acted like this. I would pop her upside her head so fast. Like, absolutely not. Yeah, it's not moral authority, like Bruce says. It's lack of evidence, yeah, that she could prove us all wrong if she had. Like, this wouldn't be a thing if she had something that proved it. And honestly, if all the DA's office had is the stuff that was shown in Clayton's case, that stuff is still not strong enough to convict her beyond a reasonable doubt. So they have way more shit than we know about that can prove those things, or they should, to bring this case. Because you could have doubt of certain things. I don't understand your doubts, but there could be reasonable doubts. But they have got to have some concrete stuff that's going to be like, no, there is going to be no way for her to explain this and sound reasonable. It's going to sound like aliens came down and did this to her. Someone society has already decided is underserving of empathy or nuance. No. We have empathy for you. Proportion despair disappeared. Context disappeared. No, there's always context. Over time, slurs replaced my name. Being called to see you next Tuesday became so routine that it ceased to function as an insult, instead became a category, a linguistic shortcut that eliminated the need to recognize me as a person at all. And as I said on Twitter when I saw this, because she's talking about Lauren here, we see you as a person. We don't like who you are as a person. You are a manipulator. You are a criminal, not a murderer. Nobody's ever said you were a murderer except for imaginary things, which if they're imaginary, you can't really murder them. So we see you. We just are calling you on your bullshit. Through repetition, the extraordinary became ordinary, dehumanization normalized for those delivering it, and inescapable for the person receiving it. No, it's not inescapable. It's called get off the fucking internet. Go look at dogs and puppies and horses. Stop looking this stuff up. You don't need to listen to people covering your case because you know what's going on in your case. So why would you need to read or listen to anything we say? You don't. There was no off switch. Yes, there is. It's called power off. Unplug. Go off the grid. You were doing that so well when Josh Kolsrud or whatever was representing you. No neutral space where I could exist without being watched, interpreted, or repurposed. Nobody is following you. So nobody's watching you inside your house. Nobody's following you around and being like, oh, like you do not have paparazzi following you. Like none of us are doing that shit. Like, nobody cares enough to follow you around. We just don't. We have better things to do. Over time, my body learned, my mind was slower to articulate that the world I was moving through had become unpredictable and hostile. I had never fully at rest. I was always bracing. Well, that's your fault. It was under these conditions that my relationship with food began to shift, not as an intention, but as an adaptation. My body was searching for something, anything that still obeyed rules. Well, you're not obeying the rules of eating either. In a life governed by accusation and volatility, food became one of the few remaining places where cause and effect still held. Eat or don't. Hunger responded. Abstention produced quiet. There was no audience, no commentary, no moral jury. At first, the change felt like relief. I was not trying to lose weight. I was not trying to disappear. I was trying, without language for it, to reduce the internal noise of living under constant scrutiny. So making yourself thinner helped you avoid that? That doesn't make sense. Restriction did not feel punitive. It felt clarifying, a small private place where the rules did not change and no one else got a vote. Well, nobody gets a vote in your house. Ron and Jan don't even get a vote in your house. Your dogs don't get a vote. Your horses don't get a vote. You do whatever the hell you want in your small private casita. This is how anorexia entered my life. And I also don't know that I believe that she was not trying to lose weight. I think she was trying to lose weight. I think that's part of the HCG, because HCG can be used for that, for weight loss clinics. Um, Also, the scale, when she posted how tiny she was, that scale comes with a weight loss program for like GLP-1s. It started with an L, and I forget what it was called. I'd have to go back and look. But that would be you trying to lose weight, proving that, "Oh, I need to lose this weight really quickly to show that I'm not pregnant anymore," because you had put on a few pounds, which you didn't put on a few pounds. For your height, 120, 130 something pounds isn't anything. I don't think any grown adult should be under 100 pounds. I don't even like 100 pounds for any adult. I'm 5 foot even. I don't look good at 100 pounds. I look anorexic at 106 pounds. I will never go back down to that. And I didn't purposely go down to 106 anyways. I was sick, but I looked anorexic. I thought I looked good because I was like, ooh, I was skinny. And she is having something, whether, and that stinks. And this is not the way she should handle it. And this is why she needs help. She needs therapy because this is not healthy. And hiring a nurse practitioner or whoever to do online counseling isn't enough for you. And then going to the gym as well, your counseling is not working. You need to get somebody that specializes in this stuff. And I am completely the opposite. I know there's a lot of people that, like, if they're stressed or mad or having a bad day or whatever, they can just not eat. I am not that person. I'm like, give me a gallon of ice cream and a bucket of chicken, and I'm going to eat my weight in feelings. And I've been that way forever. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not eating because you're mad? I'm like, ugh, I just let me eat. She said, not a wish to vanish, but as body's response to prolonged threat. Nobody's threatening you. Not as pathology at the outset, but as logic under duress. Here she goes with her duress, one of her defenses. A system doing what systems do when safely is withdrawn, conserving energy, narrowing focus, searching for predictability whenever it can be found. All of this, you are very predictable. Like, you do the same stuff day in and day out. You have consistency in things that you do. You don't like you're under duress, but it's because of consequences that are finally coming at you, and that's it. That's the only thing that's upsetting your peace, is that you're not used to dealing with consequences, and now you are, and you don't know what to do about it because you've never had to do that. And your parents have always been able to bail you out, and they can't this time. There's nobody to save you from yourself this time. And if she does, go to prison. They will definitely have her on watch, especially during the first part of it. But she may need to be under it for a lot longer because she's going to think she can't survive, which she can. She could also lessen her time in there, but all of that is up to her. The thing is the ball has always been in her court. She wants to blame everybody else, and everybody else is causing this, and nobody will stop. But she is the one that can make it stop. She needs to surrender. Oh, find faith. Go to church. I don't know, something. What I did not understand then was that this sense of control was an illusion, a mirage that would eventually strand me in a place far more dangerous than the one I was trying to escape. Okay, well, if you know that this is dangerous, why not seek help? Then in May 2025, I was indicted on charges related to the paternity case. Yes, related. The indictment did not merely add pressure to the situation already strained beyond reason. It dismantled the last remaining structure holding me upright. Well, you seem to be standing upright all the time. Until that moment, I had never been in any trouble of any kind. We know, not even school detention. Overnight, my life was reclassified. No, it was reclassified long before that. My body, my history, my words were now broadcast to a much broader audience, and they were filtered through the language and gravity of the criminal legal system because of yourself. Strangers watched in real times as proceedings were live streamed, clipped, narrated, and monetized. The most severe interpretations drew the most attention. The cruelest commentary generated the highest engagement. Empathy did not disappear so much as it became economically insufficient for the content creators covering the case. I think I've shown a lot of empathy. Death threats followed, more than a dozen of them. Prove it. And we want it forensically analyzed. It was at that point that the bulimia emerged. Okay, so before, just not eating. Now, you're eating and then doing something with it, or eating and over exercising. From the outside, bulimia is often still misunderstood as vanity, thinness, as aspiration, attention as motive. That misconception is one of the reasons it is so easily dismissed. For me, it had nothing to do with appearance. It began because I had lost control of everything that made me feel livable. And my mind seized on the one decision that felt available. I could eat, and then I could undo it or not. That's not control, though. Like, you don't have control of that. That's not you in control. That's you out of control. You have no control on your body right now. Of your mind, nothing. That's why you need to go to therapy. You need some inpatient therapy. An ED clinic that also deals with mental health. You need that so bad. That is a need that you could put as a bankruptcy needed expense, because it is needed. What I didn't know when it started was how quickly it would become clear that there was no right decision, only different kinds of punishment. Well, you're punishing yourself. If I purged, I felt, though, as I crossed a line with myself, as though I had become someone I didn't recognize, someone willing to do something degrading in secret just to survive the next hour. It's not cinematic. It is physical and humiliating and unbelievably lonely. And your parents should be doing something for it. Hating yourself for doing it anyways, because the alternative feels even more intolerable. The guilt mutated into panic if you didn't do it, suffocation, suffocating certainty that I'd lost control again, and I had failed at the one remaining thing I was supposed to be able to manage. No, that's why it's a disorder. You can't manage it. The day became a no-win equation. The day that you will win is the day that you take accountability. That's the day you can be proud of yourself, is when you take accountability. Take your consequences like a grown woman and improve yourself. Okay. She said, I could at least have taste. I could fully, desperately knowing, willing to do it. Hunger was no longer the enemy. Fullness was not the goal. Brief silence afterwards. I don't even know what that means. I'm not going to show this pic. You can go see it if you want to. It's I don't even think those are her pants. I will show you the bottom of this. Oh, it's a video. Okay. Okay. So, first of all, this picture is absolute bullshit. Okay. Absolute bullshit. I'm going to show you the description of it. So it says January 14th. Does it say 2026? 2026. Trying on a size 23 skirt. What the fuck? A 23 skirt? Do you know how big a 23 skirt is? I don't even think you ever got to a 14. A 23 skirt. Stop it right now. That'd be one thing if you were trying on some maternity stuff, but no. 23 skirt, because you don't put your skirt over your belly, especially when you're pregnant. So it couldn't even be something that she was trying to wear when she was fake pregnant. She has never been a 23 a day in her life. Bullshit, and it's a lie. But apparently she also tried on extra, extra small jeans and 10, 12 child jeans. Okay. Like there are some shirts at my size right now. I can wear an XXL in child because it's like an extra, extra large in children's. Sometimes even just an XL in children's. Like, and my daughter is super skinny. She's not as skinny as her, but she's tiny. And I tell her she's too tiny right now and she doesn't need to lose any more weight. But miss me with the 23 skirt. What is a size 23? Let's look at that. Because I want to know what size that is. Now, if it's a 23-inch skirt, which is not how women's sizes go, it says it's a 000. So a size 20 is like 2XL. So a 23 would be bigger than that, unless she's talking about inches like guys' stuff is. But that's not what I think of when I think of 23. Anyways, the world reduced itself to numbers, thresholds, tolerances. I lost nearly 50 pounds and now weigh 84 pounds. I understand exactly how alarming that sounds. I also understand that the illness does with it. I love that number, 84. I hate that I love it. Yeah, you shouldn't love it. What should register as danger is translated internally into evidence, proof that what I've been living through was real. No, it doesn't mean anything you're doing is real. The strain that was left marks what I did not imagine how bad my life has been over the last 2.5 years, but you did that, and you've made everybody else's lives bad for over a decade. 84 stopped being a goal a long time ago. Why the hell would that be a goal for you? Oh my God, your parents do you no good. Your parents are supposed to protect you, and they don't. Truly, they don't. It became a border that traps me from both sides. I cannot go below it without knowing medically that I'm no longer playing with an idea. I'm playing with organ failure and sudden death. But you've already been told that, supposedly, that your organs and stuff is failing at 84. You've supposedly had internal bleeding because of this. So why are you proud of this number? A number that's going to kill you possibly. And it's not because of anybody else. It's because of yourself. That's not okay. If I put on weight, though, JFC would say, sneering, that someone had slipped as though my health is morally failing. They get to grade. She looks anorexic is also meant as a dig, but no, it's not. It's not meant as a dig. It's meant as empathy. That we're worried because this is something you should not be doing to yourself. And the fact that nobody in your circle seems to be worried is also alarming to us. Because apparently we have more compassion about your health than anybody in your real life do. It hears it as one only sentence that sounds like approval. The only moment when the noise stops being purely punitive, briefly turns into a sick form of validation that makes you feel relieved and ashamed at the same time. Basically, I'm stuck. Truly, it's living hell, but you did this to yourself. And it sounds like you knowingly did this to yourself. Like you purposely did this. It does not sound like this is just something that's out of your control. It sounds like you purposely doing this for validation. So people will talk about you. My physicians have diagnosed me with anorexia nerviosa, extreme severity purging type. And extreme is not dramatic language. It's because my BMI is 14.4. It is the outermost clinical category, the one that signals the body is no longer functioning with a meaningful buffer. And it's why you should not be exercising. In November 2025, because BMI below an 18 is bad. On the night of superseding indictment, my body came close to making the decision for me. I was hospitalized and I had sudden life-threatening medical emergency, my system failing under strain it could no longer compensate for. You wouldn't have been on a horse if that was true. I know that this illness will kill me if I continue, and that knowing that does not magically hand me control back. It leaves me stranded between two realities that both feel impossible. I cannot keep living like this, and I do not know how to stop. That's why you get help. And no, you can't keep living like this, but you need to keep living. There are ways for you to mentally become stronger. I was there lying in the hospital bed that my mind finally went somewhere it had been avoiding. What makes this unbearable is not the idea of death itself, but the knowledge of who would be left behind if it came. The loss would not belong to the internet. It would not belong to the people who turned my suffering into their hobby. It would not live permanently inside people who did nothing to deserve it. My mom and dad would lose their daughter, not the version people argue about online, not the case or the noise around it. We don't want anybody to lose you. Nobody wants that. Stop with the bullshit. You are playing victim once again because you are always the victim. And if you truly have this disorder, which you have something, whether you're doing it on purpose or not, you're not well. There are ways to become mentally and physically stronger. And this is not it. You need help, but you're not willing to get it. And your parents would pay for it. And I don't think you were laying in the hospital bed thinking about any of this bullshit. It's just not reality. And you can try to live in this false creation that you have put in your brain, but this isn't it. Take your consequences and get healthy. Because you can move past this. Once you face your consequences, great. You do your time and then you move on. And hopefully you don't do this to anybody ever again. But showing that you're still pushing BS, you're still lying and scheming people. There's not a lot of hope. There's no remorse. And you're gonna be like, well, I can't be remorseful for something I didn't do, but you did. And if a jury of 12 or 6 or whatever convict you, it will be over 36 people, possibly, that have said, indict this woman, hold her accountable. We think you can get a conviction on her. If you count 2 different grand juries and then the jury for your trial, that will not know you from anybody. I didn't know you. I didn't really know Clayton. I knew nothing about him. I didn't know what season he was on. I didn't watch his season. But nobody should have to lose you. Are you going to listen to anything I say? No. It's me wasting my breath. But you're the one that's doing this to yourself. Talks about her father. He cannot walk on his own. When he moves from room to room, someone is always with him. My mother or me. It's not you. Holding his arm, waiting patiently when his feet freeze and his body will not respond. If I were gone, it would not just be grief, it would be a sudden absence of a body that helps his body function. One fewer set of hands, one fewer presence he trusts to keep him upright. Get a home health nurse. But y'all don't want people in your house knowing your business. Illness has already taken enough from our family. My parents don't deserve to do that. My sister would lose the one person she never has to explain herself to. The shared memory, the shorthand voice that says, no, you're not crazy. I was there too. She would lose the child rituals that carried her childhood, sister nights, long conversations that made it feel a day, survival, daily Zoom workouts where we count reps wrong and laugh at the same time. You counted workout wrong on your Zoom calls? So you're excessively working out with your sister? It's not great. Nope, not showing these. Not showing those. She talks about her nephews. Yeah, I'm sure your nephews, I'm sure you love your nephews. Sure you love your parents. And I'm sure your sister. So if you have to take strength from that, do that. You know, that's how a lot of like overweight, like fathers and mothers, why they go and do things, or even grandparents. They want to see their grandchildren or their kids. They want to be able to interact with them, play with them, see them graduate. They want to be able to see their grandkids and interact with them. And so a lot of people will go do that for their kids. They weren't willing to do it for themselves, but because they don't want to miss moments with the precious people in their life, they go and do it for them. Find your motivation. And this goes to anybody dealing with these things. Me, my motivation for a lot of things are my kids. I don't know how motivated I would be to want to go to work or not just fully like not do anything if I didn't have my kids. But I'm like, nope, I need them to have things. I want them to have a better life. Now I have my grandson. And I'm like, nope, I want to do these things or I want to buy these things. So I have to get up and go because nobody's going to pay my bills. So no matter what your motivation is, find it. And sometimes it is the people in your life. Find something. Some people are just not self-motivated, and that's okay. And this is dramatic. Let me see. Did I put this back up? No, you're just looking at my big face. I take photographs when nothing special is happening because those are the moments that vanish first. I record videos on purpose, saying their names, laughing, talking directly to them so my voice doesn't become something they have to imagine. I write cards for no occasions at all, leaving behind my handwriting, my phrasing, and the unmistakable fact of me. Please do not put your vocal fry. Nobody wants to hear your vocal fry or your whiny whatever you were doing with the creditors. That voice. Oh, nails on a chalkboard. Oh, here she goes with her mitigating factors of who she is. She'll want to leave the people behind. I have rescued nearly 20 senior special needs dogs, many of them hospice. I have held them as they died, cheek pressed into their fur, hands on their ribs, trying to memorize the exact feeling of them while they were still alive. People do not line up for animals like that. They do not want the medication schedules, the accidents, the nights when panic arrives without warning. The moment you realize you've lost your last comfort a body will ever feel. They do not want to know the ending in advance. But the ending was never a frightening part to me. So she's been there for dogs. Yep, that's your mitigating factor. Even last year, while my own life was coming apart, I pulled 2 medically fragile seniors off the county euthanasia list. Those were the 2 best decisions I made all year. It doesn't stop with dogs. It also why there are older horses in my backyard. The ones people stop paying attention to once they can't be ridden, showed, or turned into proof of anything. Some came to me within hours of being sent to the slaughter. Others have been with me for more than a decade. Many are in their late 20s, gray around the eyes, stiff when they first stand, slow every year, and still lifting their heads the second they hear my voice. Great. I know their habits the way you know people you've been besides. Which one freezes if you rush him and all that. Great. Do it so you can save more animals, if that needs to be your thing. Right. Start an animal rescue. That is wonderful. In the prison, maybe you can start an animal thingy there. I don't know. But that's your only mitigating factor. The only thing you can list. And you love your family, but not more than you love yourself, because you wouldn't be putting your family through any of this. What is mostly cruelly misunderstood is the belief that persistence equals resistant. I am under medical care. I'm working with professionals who understand exactly how serious this is and how narrow the margin has become. There is no neglect, no denial, no attachment to being unwell. There is only a body that is kept under threat for too long. Without it, you need help. Since 2023, Justice for Clayton has dreamed of a documentary in which they are protagonists. The people who exposed wrongdoings brought someone to justice and emerged vindicated. Nobody's looking to be vindicated. Nobody. But there's another ending to the story, one they do not account for. If the pressure they have helped sustain continues, if the eating disorder I am now fighting overtakes me, there is a version of that documentary that looks like a victory. There's no version that will look like a victory. A film that set out to celebrate accountability would instead have a reckon with the reality that sustained cruelty, public fixation, and relentless exposure did not produce justice at all. They produced death. No, they did not produce anything. It will be, you couldn't deal with accountability. And so you make yourself the victim for good. And that will be sad. Because if that does happen, I am not going to be like, thank God the witch is dead. That's not anything I'll be doing. She's talking about, $4.99 super chats, a spike in view, adrenaline rush, subscriber count ticking higher. Becomes just tempting enough to eclipse empathy when people forget slowly and then all at once what it feels like to be human. We know you're human. But blaming us for your problems is not the way to go. Blaming the justice system is not the way to go. The thing is the public can think things all they want. But we're not the only ones seeing it that way. Like, I would love to hear something other than you putting the blame on people that have nothing to do with this. You are the reason for your own demise. And no, I don't think anybody would ever say we didn't know it was that bad. We know how bad it is, but we also know what you're doing. For justice for Clayton followers, it would be mourning the social media communities that would eventually go quiet, a server archived, a fixation replaced with a new case. We cover cases other than yours. Like, nobody solely covers you. You're not that important. I have a lot of things I would like to cover. And then you step in with some BS. And I'm not showing those pictures either that make fun of her appearance, because I'm not here to make fun of her appearance. All this is just, it's her becoming a victim because she's always the victim. But it's also another cry for help. And nobody is willing to help her. The people that are supposedly in her corner don't want to help her at all. That to me is sad. And I hope everybody has people in their corner. Where's her other bullshit? Mm-hmm. Why is this not letting me? 10-minute read. Let's see here. That's about a horsey. That's all about a horsey. So that is her ridiculous post. I may do videos. I may do videos on Jingers's blogs to see. Something also that I wanted to show y'all is, and I will actually put this link in my video description. And it's not necessarily an ad, like nobody's paying me to say this, but where am I? I want that here. That is badly spelled. Okay, let's see. Okay, no, not made for kids. Okay, so this thing that I want to show y'all is it's Microsoft. And I was going to share it with y'all because I use this. Sometimes I forget about it and I come back, but I know it works. And you have to you kind of learn some stuff from it too. But if you have okay, I need to just go to a regular, let's just go to a home page. No, let's go back. Okay, I'll show you this. So it's a link and it's a way for you can earn free gift cards. And I'm going to put the referral link in. But I always try to do it and I try to earn enough to where at least I can earn a little something to help with like Christmas shopping or something like that. It's not free money or anything. Why does this want to do that? Okay. So this is my page, my web page. And you'll see here at the top, it says 1120 and it's got the little metal thing on it. But if you click it, like right now, because I cashed in some of my points for like a gift card at Christmas time. But you basically, you go through and do these little prompts. Like daily poll, you get like 10 points. And so it says, which pasta recipe would you make for dinner? Pesto pasta or ganache? Let's just go pesto. Okay. So 10 points. That's 11:30. All right. Let's see. And you just click down. So I'm at 11:30. Let's see. Gecko signaling. Discover how geckos interact in the wild. Now I'm up to 1140 points. And you can read it or you can just go to the page. They've got puzzles, celebrity news. Let's see if y'all know any of these news. Recently in Madison Square Garden, which team won 130 to 119? I have no idea. And it doesn't really even matter. Let's go 76ers. Okay, that was right. 76ers. Which team clinched? Broncos, maybe? Oh, maybe the Bills. Oh, Broncos. Okay, I thought I saw something in the news about that. And then which artist chosen's Texas LED? I have an update. I don't know. Ella Langley, because I think my son likes her. Okay, so I got all those right, but you don't even have to get them all right. Like there's got to be another one. And they've got quotes of the day too, just clicking on them. And you can see the points go up. And you can choose things like $5, like $5 gift cards, $25. Of course, if you choose a higher one, it's going to take you more points. Let's see. But the quote of the day is, with age, you get to a place where you don't want to knock people out. You just want to give people a hug. Some days you still want to knock them out. But as you can see, like my points went up. Okay. And let's see. View dashboard. And you get more streaks and stuff. And you can do all these. Where is it? And so you can redeem it like Amazon gift cards, Roblox, Xbox gift cards. I've done several of those for the kids. I guess sweepstakes, Microsoft, Starbucks, Burger King, AMC, Domino's, Sephora, Target, Walmart, Dunkin', Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, even airlines, Best Buy. So, and yeah, some of these are high, like 6,500 or 19. That's a Southwest, 19,000. And so you might slowly get there. But if you just do it every day or a couple of times a week or whatever, I mean, it's free. And so it's just a free way to get something. And I meant to share it in the last stream, but it's a way you can earn free stuff, which is always nice. So the link is in the description box for people that want to use it. And then if you have a channel, you can share your referral link, or if you have people that you can share their referral link to your family and stuff and all that. But I just want to share something free that y'all can get perks from. You can learn. It's just clicks. It's not anything hard. Like, you're not having to take surveys, or you don't have to buy anything to earn these things like some other things. And I know it personally works because I've redeemed several myself through the years. But that is going to be it for me tonight. And let's see, actually, who can I redirect y'all to? I forget where that is at. That's recording. That's that. Close on that. Oh, here we go. Add redirect. Okay. Oh, MG Law is live with his What the Fuck Wednesday stream, or Shizzy Wisnet is doing more federal depositions, and then Runkle of the Bailey is doing the Uvalde case. And I believe there's a verdict in that case now too. Which, as a Texas girl, I was not expecting that Uvalde case to go down the way it went down. Like, I was shocked. But I think I'm going to send you over to MG Law, because maybe he has insight on this today. But he's got that soothing voice to end your night with. So put a little bunch of chick peep duck things in there and tell them that Ducky sent you. And y'all have a good night. And I actually will have time to make more videos this week, thankfully, because last time I couldn't. And I'm going to go take care of my face. So, good night. Also, again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn your notification bells on. And subscribe. Bye.
I maybe be angry, jealous, or in love. Make sure outsiders don't ruin the reputation and reveal our secrets. They need to be stopped, or the truth will come out. Motive means opportunity. I have the knowledge, the skill, the support, the tools to become a killer. Motive means opportunity. Now the opportunity reveals itself by time and a shady alibi. I have no reason to explain the things that I do. Can I do the crime in the time? Can I cover this up, or does this mean we're corrupt? Motive means opportunity. Do I have the motive, the means, and the opportunity? Motive means opportunity. The motive, the means, and the opportunity. Motive means opportunity. I have the knowledge, the skill, the support, the tools to become a killer. Motive means opportunity. Now the opportunity reveals itself by time in a shady alibi. I have no reason to explain the things that I do. Can I do the crime in the time? Can I cover this up, or does this mean we're corrupt? Motive means opportunity. Do I have the motive, the means, and the opportunity? Motive means opportunity. Do I have the motive, the means, and the opportunity? Motive means opportunity.